Yo, what is up, boys? Partywaffles here, and today I'm making you guys my Frosty K Season 2 The War Within PvP guide. We're going to cover everything you need to know. I'm going to show you a couple variations. But yeah, for those of you guys that don't know me, my name is Partywaffles. I'm a rank 1 Death Knight on Frost and Holy, and I'm going to help you guys out today. So let's get right into it. Okay, guys, so the first thing we're going to talk about here is the talents, okay? So this is going to be a dual-wield Riders of the Apocalypse Frost build, very similar to last season. On the left side, we're going to highlight some things, and then we'll highlight on the right. So on the left side, obviously, we have Blinding Sleet, our Blind, Kick, Double Chains, Zone, Stun, Double Grip, A-Bomb Limb, just all the typical things, right? In terms of Frost, you really don't want to change too much on the left side. You kind of just want to leave the build how it is, more or less, okay? Sometimes you can change some stuff. For instance, Anti-Magic Zone, if you're not fighting any magic, you could switch that into a melee point. Or if you're playing with a priest, a disc priest, and you wanted to gloom ward. But there's not too much variation on the left side. You can't really drop the double chains really either because you're getting icy talons with it. But if you really had to, you could drop this if you're not playing the attack speed version. But yeah, so left side's kind of pretty in place. In terms of Riders of the Apocalypse talents, there's going to be one talent that you change frequently, which is going to be Horseman's Aid and Pact of the Apocalypse. Basically, if you're fighting full casters, like full magic damage, then the left talent will be good. But if you're fighting anything that's physical at all, then the right talent, you're going to want the right talent. So that's the variation there. And then on the right side here, it's basically just a typical build, right? Like the same as last season, typical dual-wield build. This one isn't the crit version. So with this build, you don't really need any crit. It's very straightforward. But yeah, the main thing we're going to be playing around here in terms of talents is the Shattering Blade. So when you have 5 stacks of Razor Ice on the target and you Frost Strike, it's going to consume the stacks to do a very big hit. So how you're getting those stacks is a couple different ways. The first way, Avalanche, is going to give you stacks of Razor Ice, okay, when that hits people. Arctic Assault, when this goes out and shoots a Glacial Advance, that's also going to give you some stacks. And then it's going to be the auto attacks from your weapon, so which is why attack speed is nice. And so that's the build there. There's another version of it too, a crit version of the build, which has these talents. At the end of the day, they're going to play the exact same, but I'll give you both just in case you want to play the crit build. But it seems like this one is the one that's shining right now. So let's go and take a look at the PvP talents though, okay? So they're a little bit different now than they used to be. Death Chill, now that Remorseless Winter is reworked, and it's a 20-second cooldown now, or Remorseless Winter when we're playing this talent. So if we play this, every time we press our Remorseless Winter, it's going to AoE root everything around you. So you have a 20-second cooldown AoE root that doesn't instantly break on damage. So that's actually really nice into a lot of things. Very, very nice. It's actually the main talent I play now in terms of my flex talent. And then the next thing we have here, well, I'll cover the ones that I'm using first, and then I'll tell you. So the middle talent here is the flex talent, the Death Chill that I just put on. Next we have Silence, which is pretty straightforward. It's just our crowd control. And then we have the new talent, which is very good, and this is what you're playing around a lot. So it's called Death's Cold Embrace. Basically, when you press Pillar of Frost, it's going to make your Remorseless Winter extra huge and do extra huge damage. And that's basically it, right? But yeah, so let's take a look at the other PvP talents. Shroud of Winter. This is okay. I don't really use it much. I pretty much just stick to like Delirium. I'll tell you ones all I stick to, but yeah, Delirium's one of them. I don't really use Shroud of Winter. Dark Sim is pretty good. You can trade this out for Silence if your team already has a Silence on it, and if there's anything for you to steal with it. Could also trade it out for Death Chill if you really needed it. Rotten Wither, I wouldn't play this with Frost ever. Bloodforged Armor, this is... sorry, you're never going to change that one really, but Bloodforged Armor is good if you're fighting double physical damage, okay? And you know the physical damage is going to train you, and you don't want to kite. But honestly, with Death Chill, you can kite them pretty well, so... the next thing we have here is Spell Warden, which is really good if you want to give your anti-magic shell to your teammates or something to prevent a crowd control on your healer, per se. That's also really good. And then we have, yeah, that's basically it. But the main ones I'm using is going to be like something like this, either Delirium or Death Chill, depending what I'm fighting. But that's the talents there and the PvP talents, okay? So let's move on to the next thing. Okay, guys, so let's talk about gearing right now. So we're going to make it really simple, okay? We're going to go for about 15 to 20% haste, and then we're going to go 25-ish versatility, and we're going to go full mastery outside of that, okay? If you're playing the crit version, you can go about 13% crit and then go the exact same stats that I just said. So that's going to be pretty straightforward for your stats. In terms of embellishments, you're going to go for this embellishment right here. It's called Focusing Lens. If you look it up in the auction house, that's where you're going to buy Focusing Lens. So that's the embellishment you're going to go. And then we're going to go 4 set for the tier, okay? Because the tier bonus is good for us with 4 pieces. It's pretty decent. But the thing about the tier is that if you want to play Unholy as well, I would go full tier minus the legs, okay? Don't get the legs. Get everything else but the legs, because that's the same pieces that Unholy wants. So then you'll be able to easily play Unholy as well. Also, the legs have the most crit, so unless you're playing the crit version, you really don't want that crit anyways. So yes, you're going to go 4-piece, everything except for the legs, okay? So in terms of your gearing, that's all you're going to prioritize getting those first. You'll get your weapons from the free weapon token at 2,500 conquest, and then you're going to get your 2 embellished items. Those are your main things. Other than that, basically just buy the epic conquest gear. There's bloody token gear as well, so you can buy the bloody token pieces in the meantime. But yes, just get that stat split that I just told to you. And then in terms of enchants, so these are super important right here, okay? You really need to make sure that you put Rune of Razor Ice on one of your weapons, because the spec revolves around Shattering Blade partly. So you need to put a Razor Ice on your one weapon, Fallen Crusader on your other weapon, and then we'll just run through all the enchants for you. So the Cloak enchant, you're going to put on Speed or Leech. Chest, you're going to put on Crystalline Radiance tier 3. Bracers, you're going to put on Speed. Rings, you're going to put on... I put on Cursed Haste at the moment, but you can put on whatever ring enchants are going to get you to that stat split that I just told you there, which was the 15 to 20% haste, 25 verse, full mastery. So you just get a little chunk of haste to make your attacks fastish, and then you're going to go full mastery so everything hits really hard, okay? Unless you went the crit build. But honestly, I would just skip the crit build, because at this point, it'll just be easier too if you want to play Frost and Unholy. But if you really want the crit one, again, from last season, again, it's just these talents instead of these 3. I will leave that in there for you. So that's your gearing, okay? That's all your gearing and everything like that. Pretty straightforward, nothing too crazy there. Let's go to the next thing. Okay, we're going to talk about damage rotation and then how to burst. So we're just going to talk about your normal rotation first. So your normal rotation is pretty straightforward. You want to keep your dot on the target if possible. And then basically Obliterate is your main builder for your runic power. And Frost Strike is your spender. Your Howling Blast is going to proc. If it procs, press it, because it's going to be big damage since we're playing the Howling Blast talents. Other than that, basically it's just your stacks, okay? So you're going to watch these Razor Ice stacks that are building up, and once they hit 5, you're going to Frost Strike to consume them for a big hit, okay? That's basically your rotation. That's pretty much it. The another thing to note here is that when you have a Death and Decay down, your Obliterate will hit everything in the Death and Decay, okay? And if your Obliterate lights up, that means it's a critical strike. So when you have Obliterate critical strikes, try to drop a Death and Decay below your target so that you can cleave it, as in hitting all the targets around you, instead of just hitting one target. So cleave Obliterates, maximize your Shattering Frost Strikes, and then press the buttons that light up and keep your dot up. That is basically your rotation. So that's your core rotation. The way your Remorseless Winter works now, if you're using this talent, then it's going to be a big root, right? So try to use it when you can root things, so you're getting value out of the talent if you're playing that. Other than that, you're basically just pressing this on cooldown as damage now, okay? The only other circumstance where you're not just pressing it on cooldown for damage outside of your root is if you are trying to Gathering Storm for your big Pillar of Frost. So what this means is when you press your Remorseless, every rune you press is going to extend the Remorseless and increase the damage of it, okay? So if you use a Remorseless Winter before your go, as in your go is in your Pillar of Frost, your main damage, that's what I'm referring to as your go, I could use the Remorseless Winter, Obliterate a couple times, and then look at the Gathering Storm stacks. They're already pre-built up, right? So then when I press my Pillar of Frost, instead of having to gather them up during the pillar, it's already pre-ramped up. So that's the other circumstance on how you could use your Remorseless Winter. But that is basically just your normal damage rotation right there. All right, guys, and the fun part. Let's show you how to burst. Awesome. All right, pushing up on this guy. Ramping up a little bit. Okay, I'm going to grip the Shaman in a sec. No. Big damage. Let's go Shaman on this, by the way. He's dead. Okay. Yeah. There it is. So, the core of your burst is going to be this talent, okay? Remorseless Winter, this talent, and Pillar of Frost, and basically shattering frost strikes. That's going to be your big damage, okay? But this is basically how you do it. So you're going to want to try to have multiple people together grouped up, okay? So for example, let me mark this guy for you. This guy's skull and this guy's triangle. Okay, so assume that triangle is a healer, okay? Triangle is a healer. I have him as my focus target, and this guy is just the DPS. So assume that this healer is about 20 yards away from me. I want to do my go. So what that entails almost every time is going to be grip, blind, okay? I'm going to grip the healer on top of the DPS, and I'm going to blind them together so they're in place for me. And then I'm going to Pillar of Frost, Dragon if I have it. So pop my damage and stun them in place. And then the Remorseless Winter from the talent is going to start going off. Let me actually hearth really quick. I'm going to show you this in Dorn at the PvP trainer sheet so you can actually see the PvP talent correctly. But yeah, so that's basically going to be the combo. Again, I was telling you guys about that way that you can pre-ramp up the Gathering Storm, so you already have the modifier topped out, but you don't always have to do it like that. That's the slow ramp, and then there's the fast ramp. But I'm just going to show you to do it the normal way, and then if you want to slow ramp and get the Remorseless before, you can. And basically all you would do there would be just grip them into the Remorseless root, and then, yeah. Actually, I'll show you both ways. I'll show you the slow ramp first. So the slow ramp is kind of nice too, because people will see you grip Remorseless and they'll think it's the real new scary one, and then they'll press defensives and freak out or like try to blink away or whatever. But let me show you the slow ramp way that I do it sometimes. So what I'll do is I'll just press my Remorseless Winter, and then I'll press whatever lights up, and then I'll press Obliterate basically until I can't press anything anymore. And then boom, once I'm out of runes, then I'll go Pillar of Frost, Dragon. You can blind if you have to, if they're not together yet, but yeah. And then that's basically it. So I'm just cleaving the Obliterates. I'm using the Shattering Frost Strikes, and I'm pressing the buttons to light up, but I'm trying to maximize the Shattering Frost Strikes, right? When I see a 5-stack, I'm basically trying to shatter it, and yeah. And then you can re-Remorseless. If you pre-ramp the Remorseless, then you're already about 8 seconds into the cooldown, and then you can re-Remorseless root them at the end. So that's the one way, okay? That's the slow way with pre-ramping the Remorseless. Now let me show you the normal way without doing that. So assume that this is the healer, okay? The green one's the healer. I'm going to set him as my focus. And then this is a DPS, we'll say. So assume that we're just fighting, right? I'm just hitting this guy like normal. I'm just doing my normal rotation on this guy. Blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to pre-ramp this Remorseless. I'll just use this one to keep them in it maybe instead. So, all right, I have my stuff ready. I'm ready to go. I have all my cooldowns that I need. I don't have Dragon because you won't have Dragon every go, but that's okay. So I'm going to grip. Assume that I'm gripping the healer. Won't show it, but I focus grip the healer on top of my DPS target. Focus grip so I don't have to change my target. And then I'm going to blind them together. And then I'm going to press Remorseless Root because I don't have my Dragon right now. And I'm just going to send my Pillar of Frost. And then I'm going to do my normal go. Again, I'm going to drop a Death and Decay below us though if I don't have Dragon. Just so my Obliterates cleave. But that's basically it. So maximize the cleaving Obliterates while shattering the 5-stack Frost Strikes. But you want to maximize the Obliterates though, because the Obliterates are going to keep extending your Gathering Storm, right? So that's basically it. But the thing to note there is, if you don't have your Dragon, again, it's going to look, it'll look something like this. Just assume that I have Pillar, but it's going to be like grip, blind. When they're blinded, I'll drop the Death and Decay, and then I'll drop the Remorseless to root them in place. And then I can just do my Pillar of Frost like normal. But yeah, because if you have the Dragon, your Dragon is going to summon your Horsemen, okay? And the Horsemen are going to give you a Death and Decay already. It's still nice if you can have your own, but yeah. So you don't necessarily need to press the Death and Decay in your go for the Frostworm if you have the Frostworm Fury. But outside of the Frostworm Fury, then you could drop a Death and Decay, because not only that, but it's also going to give you haste while you're in it. But yeah, that's basically it. Like the gist of it. Grip, blind, stun, Pillar of Frost, one shot, right? But remember, when you use your Pillar of Frost, notice what's going to happen, okay? I can't really move, right? I can't really move. So you really need to make sure that you set it up correctly, like I was saying, with the grip, blind, stun. And you don't want to waste grips, okay? You want to save basically all your grips for during your Pillar of Frost when you can't move. Because then if somebody gets away, you can get them back. And if you don't have that grip, you can use this grip to get them back. So for your first grip blind stun, you're going to have your dragon, right? But for your next grip blind Pillar of Frost, after that one, the second one, you're not going to have your stun. So you can use your A-bomb limb to keep them in your second Pillar of Frost better, since you won't have a stun. But yeah, that's what it comes down to, right? Like the class at its core is really simple: grip, blind, stun, Pillar of Frost, do damage. But it's the finesse that makes it hard, right? Like classes are going to blink out of your go, they're going to port out, they're going to knock you. So you really need to save like a death charge for every single Pillar of Frost if the other team has a knock, or say the shaman will just instantly knock you every time and you'll never do anything. So that's where the finesse about it comes from: learning how to like save your grips only for your go, and like using death charges only for your go and everything like that. But yeah, at the basic level, it's literally just grip, blind, drop a death and decay, and do your damage, right? And if you have your dragon, then grip, blind, dragon, Pillar of Frost. But you want to be hitting multiple people. And then remember that you can utilize this before the go to pre-ramp your stacks if you want to go for instant big stacks of Gathering Storm for max damage. Or you can use it like at halfway through, like 5 seconds after your pillar when they're starting to run away. You can use it and just like use it to root them back in place, right? Because it's an AoE root too. But yeah, that's what it comes down to, guys. That's how you do all the damage, the burst, everything like that. I think we've covered more or less everything here. If there's some things we might have missed, it's from because last season is basically the same. So we kind of just iterated on top of that. But I think we covered everything more or less. So if you guys enjoyed the video, let me know in the comments below. Hit that like and subscribe button. And I will see you guys on the next video. So thank you and good luck in the season, boys. Peace.